shared experience today. Because the more of our lives that are lived in digital spaces, the less we have experiences with each other in embodied spaces. And so even if we are sharing this space over the, World Wide Web, and we are all over the world, we can have an experience together just by kind of sharing the information that we are learning today. The next thing I want to say is that my slides also are going to be a little bit different in that sometimes when I am talking about very scholarly research, which I am having a hard time making, maybe I'm pointing it wrong, Vance, am I pointing it wrong? There we go, thank you. I spend 15 hours a week now, so I'm a psychologist, I'm in private practice. A little bit about why I got interested in this topic is that I have a 22-year-old and a nearly 20-year-old, and their favorite toys when they were growing up and my favorite toys with them were toys where we would all lay on the floor and play together, right? Suddenly, when about 10 years after my kids were born, I had a niece and nephew, and I wanted to gift them with some of the same kinds of toys that I had had and that my kids had had. And what I found when I started shopping for toys is that most of the preschool toys at that point, which was about 10 years ago, were beginning to have computer chips in them. So they lit up, they made sounds. There was no sense of play in the same way that there used to be. And so I began to become interested about that time in how this kind of trending down in technological advances to younger and younger children were going to impact the lifespan of these kids, and especially their relational attachments and the way in which they develop a sense of self. From there, I began to read research and talk about this, and then kind of immerse myself in the world of pop culture. So up to about, I don't know, 3 months ago at least, I dedicate at least 15 hours a week reading research and doing really horrifically mundane things like reading People magazine and trying to keep up with what's happening in our culture and where we are spending our time. The research that I'm going to talk about today, if we looked at the articles, looks a lot like this. This is a piece of research that has to do with video game play and impulse control and agitation. However, this isn't very exciting to look at, so sometimes I'm going to show you the USA Today version or the New York Times version. However, you can be sure that whatever research I bring up is quality research. It is well constructed, it is peer reviewed, and there are very good reasons to kind of consider that it would have something important for us to know about. I want to also just tell you about what brings me to this point today. And maybe you can, am I pointing this incorrectly? Vance, who's the king of all things, is going to help me. So I've been doing this research for 10 years. In the last 3 months, I have had a lot of changes. There we go. Thank you so much. In how I think about technology. Even though this is my topic,